Do you pray?
I don't. I didn't even pray when I almost died of malaria.
Wow, that's really not praying.
Right.
So you put your money where your bug spray was.
Yeah.
All right, final question to close our time out here.
Yeah, I mean, we're here. The Babylon Bee is a Christian organization, and we're a ministry.
Well, how come we're doing the show on a Sunday?
Why
aren't you heathens in church?
Exactly. To justify.
Do you have an idea, like God said, don't work on Sundays. Okay. I mean, let's just say, like, I agree with the principles that Jesus advocated, and that there's great wisdom in the teachings of Jesus, and I agree with those teachings. So, as the saying goes, nature abhors a vacuum. So when you have essentially a decline in religion, an increase in the secular nature of society, for most people, they need something to fill that void. And so they adopt a religion. It's not called a religion, but effectively like woke, the woke mind virus. It takes the place of religion.
Yes.
Do you believe in God?
I believe there's some explanation for this universe, which you might call God.
Okay, what do you worship?
Well, I don't really worship anything, but I do devote myself to the advancement of humanity using technology.
Do you think there is other intelligent life outside the Earth?
It seems probable, but I think this is one of the great questions in physics and philosophy.
If we go to the big questions once again, you said you're with Einstein, that you believe in the God of Spinoza.
I believe in the God of Spinoza. Yes.
So that's a view that God is like the universe and reveals himself through the laws of physics, or as Einstein said, through the lawful harmony of the world.
Yeah, I would agree that God, the simulator, or whatever, the supreme being or beings, reveal themselves through the physics. They're creators of this existence, and it's incumbent upon us to try to understand more about this wondrous creation.
Who created this thing? Who's running this thing? Like embodying it into a singular question with a sexy word on top of it is like focusing the mind to understand. It does seem like there's again, it could be an illusion. It seemed like there's a purpose, that there's an underlying master plan of some kind. It seems like
there may not be a master plan in the sense so there's maybe an interesting answer to the question of determinism versus free will is that if we are in a simulation...
It's also possible, though, that we're in a simulation.
That we're in a simulation like the Matrix?
Yeah. Well, different from the Matrix, but a simulation of sorts, yeah.
Well, this whole world could be a dream.
It could be a dream, yeah. Yeah, but I mean, it could be a simulation. I mean, have you ever played like these, like the advanced video games and how realistic they're getting?
I know. It is like a whole nother life.
Right.
Yeah. With the goggles and everything, 3D and everything.
Yeah.
All of that stuff.
It could be that that's what we know to be Earth. Maybe we're some other creature's avatar.
The reason that these higher beings would hold a simulation is to see what happens. So it's not they don't know what happens. Otherwise they wouldn't hold the simulation.
On to Elon himself. First and foremost, the world's premier engineer and inventor is a man clearly and demonstrably capable of doing 6 impossible things at the same time. This speaks primarily of his intelligence. Musk is exceptionally 1 in a billion high in general cognitive ability and openness, a true genius, albeit in the technical manner. That is an observation, not a criticism.
Obviously, there's certainly many examples of civilizations that become prosperous. There is generally a trend towards hedonism.
Yeah, well, you can get away with it if you're wealthy, eh? Because the consequences of your foolishness don't smack you on the head instantly.
Precisely. So, if you're a civilization under threat, like let's say if you take, say, Rome when they were trying to not get annihilated by Carthage, and they had Hannibal running around marauding Italy, they didn't have time for hedonism.
Right.
Hedonism is not an option. We're going to get destroyed by
When
Hannibal.
the chips are down.
And
yeah.
when a civilization's under stress, there's very little hedonism. You know, there's some wisdom that comes through the ages that you don't want to have someone be a spoiled brat. I would say I generally agree with the teachings of Christianity, but I am not religious. Like turn the other cheek and love thy neighbor as thyself and that kind of thing.
But do you believe in like a god or like a higher power?
Well, something created the universe, or the universe is, you know, here. How did it come to be? You could say whatever caused the universe to come to be is God, or, you know, gods, depending on your view. I don't know. I think as a philosophy that I think makes sense is to go out there and to expand consciousness so that we're better able to answer the questions of, like, what is the meaning of life? What is the nature of the universe? What are even the right questions to ask? And if we can expand consciousness, more humans and more digital intelligence, then our opportunity to understand the meaning of life is that much greater. And so I would I have the philosophy of curiosity to understand the nature of reality.
So, what do you think about the singularity?
Well, so the singularity is what.
What's the singularity?
That's the point where artificial intelligence exceeds human intelligence, and the reason it's called singularity, and I think Reiko as well coined that term, is because after that we don't know what's going to happen. You know, what will happen? You know, if you've got some sort of super smart computer that's increasing in intelligence in kind of a runaway fashion.
Do you have a spiritual life?
Well, it sort of depends on what spiritual means.
So what do you think spiritual means? I mean, it is one of those words that kind of needs to be defined for everyone. Some people, it's like their religion, and it's a very specific kind of thing. For some people, it's a very vague kind of yoga and crystals and some meditation classes and stuff like that. And for me, it is the life of the human being that's beyond the physical and the material. That also is a little bit more than just thought. So we have thoughts.
Right.
But those are physical because there's neurons that are bouncing around.
Right. I mean, maybe there's some dimension where thoughts exist or something. Because I don't, you know, what is a thought? What is it? I mean, is it? I mean, I'm not sure what thoughts are. You know, whether there's some manifestation of thought in a way that you know is different from the physical dimensions we're aware of.